Yeah. Yeah, still. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have the comments. Yeah.
Welcome back to Ancient Knowledge, an ongoing discussion about all the history we lost. Christine, Susan, and Gerard driving a motor vehicle, so I have to apologize. I left home and I forgot my shirt, so I had to turn around and go and get my shirt. Late. I mean, it was a cool day. It was, it's like only 96, but
Oh,
I
that's
drive with
good.
no, yeah, I drive with no shirt till I get to where I'm, at least till I get to the main road. So I had to turn around and go back. So I'm sorry for being. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, after that, yeah, it will
Like
be
you,
better.
like you said, Christine, I felt drained for like the past week or
Oh
so.
my God,
Yeah.
it was a moment I felt so bad to see why am I here on the earth. It's really,
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah,
very
it was bad.
negative. And I thought, oh my God, can't stand it anymore. I was like kind of a bit in panic and, oh, but,
Yeah. And it was literally like I could feel like, oh my God, like we've passed the point of no return. We're all gonna die.
yeah, we all gonna die.
Like, holy shit,
Yes,
this
we
is for
are.
real now. You know what I mean? This isn't just a hashtag anymore. And it was just like sad, like, oh, we could be like using our minds to telepathically build pyramids and like be happy to learn stuff. But nah, we're gonna die in tsunamis and vaccine dabbing zombies.
Yeah, yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, it's true. It's a weird. It's. I think it's more for me, psychology. Uh, yeah, for the mind, it's really it's heavy. It's not so much for my. I don't live in a circumstance, hard situation, but like psychology with all those people, I really rarely find people on my mindset nowadays, and it feels really lonely. And that is another kind of attack on on the unity of people.
Yeah.
And that is for me now lately very very heavy. That's why I really want to escape. And yeah, but yeah, then yeah, it's not
Nah, I
not
felt
yet
that from
possible.
you for a while, actually, Christine. I felt that you were lonely for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
Feeling
yeah, you
alone.
feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It's like I would do everything to go to yeah with people. And yeah, luckily yesterday was a wonderful day. But yeah, I have to find more people my mind level. But it's not easy.
No. And it's draining.
Yeah, it's really draining because yeah,
Yeah.
on computer you can find it, but that's not the same as in
It's not
real
the
life.
same. No.
That's not. I can,
No. Everybody has to
and
understand this isn't real. Like it's semi real.
no, it's semi-real. That's true. It's
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it,
not. Yeah,
is it even
it's
real-ish?
It's real ish. It's not
it's
real.
realish. Yes, it's not real. It's
Yeah.
realish.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that this whole world isn't real and they just casted some kind of creepy matrixy holographic
Yeah.
thing. And I don't even know what's going on
Mhm.
anymore. Like I have no idea. It's insane. What's happening right now is insane to me.
Yeah.
Right. That's my question. Is it, well, and this is the problem. Is there's going to be another Matrix movie, and it's not going to have Lawrence Fishburne, but that's a whole other discussion.
I know,
They
right?
got some
How can
skinny
you see
black.
the matrix without him?
Well, you know what? First of all, so the question would be, because I'm gonna forget it. Is the Matrix real? That's the real. Is it real-ish, kind of real, or is it fake? Is it just a complete virtual reality? Number one. But I want to talk about that for a minute. I'm gonna go back. Y'all could at least get a fat black guy. I don't really understand Hollywood at all. Like they replace more with a skinny black guy. Why would you find somebody that looked like me to put him in place of Morpheus? You need somebody with some age on him. He's like young and it's I don't think I can watch it. I don't think I can watch it. I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Because it's a matrix within the matrix within a matrix.
Yeah, I think it's true. We are in and in and in and in. And that's
Yeah.
why we should meditate to get. The only way to get out is by meditation, because then you come in the reality, and that is the energy of love. And that is actually the only reality. Because whatever we do, that's a mental projection, what we do.
Yeah.
How about none of the How about none of them are real? How about we're in Matrix and Matrix and Matrixes that are in Matrixes? Like, you know, the Russian dolls, how you got the little egg doll and you keep popping them out?
The nesting dolls, yeah.
You're picking your dimension. You're picking your reality. You're picking your, you know, like if there are people, as an example, there are people who still live in the political sphere, right? And that's a dimension. They kind of pick and choose the parameters of what can be true and what can't be. There are people who live in the cuckoo virus sphere, right? They're picking the reality of what, you know, the facts of what can be true and what can't be true. I think to a degree, we all pick our own little dimension, our own little matrix, and maybe we're slaves to it unless we allow truth to constantly break down the walls of the current matrix we're in, which takes us to a bigger matrix, and then that one gets broken down in a bigger matrix. I imagine there's a root matrix somewhere.
Yeah. Because I was even thinking that today when I was in the shower. Like, okay, so if I get out of this matrix, is it just going into another matrix? And does that necessarily mean that matrix is going to be better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always think the grass is greener on the other side. For you, it's a kind of nightmare. Well, I think we did that this time. I think we did that this time.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse than what it is right now, but I think that's what heaven is. It's just another dimension, or purgatory, or whatever you want to call it. It's just another dimension.
Yeah, probably.
It's bigger.
Yeah. Isn't there not? Yeah, but there are 7 layers in the dark side and 7 layers to the heaven side. So you can go dark, I mean a little bit dark, then darker and darker and darker till the darkest, number 7. You can go light, neutral, number 1, and to the super heavenly godlike, that is number 7 of the heavens. There are 7, like 14 realms, 7 in up, positive, and 7 negative, kind of.
And that is from the matrix perspective of the beings who gave us that knowledge. It probably goes beyond that. That's just the level that they were at, but they could see how big their dimension was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's great. Like, that's what I really think. I think we're in infinite dimensions. I think we're in infinite planets, infinite suns, infinite solar systems, infinite. Like, it reminds me of what I was thinking about this. Little brother Paul, who, you know, we're the only thing in the universe. We're the only intelligent thing, and nothing else out there. There are literally infinite planets.
Oh yeah.
And infinite solar systems and infinite galaxies. And the bigger, like the more we enhance technology, the further we look, the more there is. And this is why we just, you know.
And it's always multi-creating. That is, which scientists prove that. It's the universes are created daily, or no? I mean, they keep on creating. It's not stopping. Creation never stops.
No, but because even if we break it down to a scientific level of life, right? It's one cell that splits into 2 cells, that splits into 4 cells, and it just keeps like the Fibonacci sequence, right? It just keeps going on and on and on. And isn't there even that thing that says that the universe is fractal? It just keeps, I think it was Randall Carlson or Graham Hancock, and it just keeps repeating patterns. It's
like
expands, but it's the same.
It's always expanding,
right?
And we discover more and more and more. So,
right. Well, even which see, this is what I mean about the Matrix and nothing being real. Because I'm sorry, they tell me that the Hubble Space Scope can see my sneakers from space, but they can't find missing kids. You know what I mean? No, I just don't. Yeah, I don't get how any of this is like. How do you believe anything, right? So, but apparently, science says that that the universe, the Big Bang, right? So, like, if you throw a baseball, it eventually goes so far, and then it starts slowing down. Like, it has velocity in the beginning, it slows down, and then it stops, right? So they thought Big Bang, and that's how the universe was.
Yes.
But somehow science found out that the universe actually expands, and it expands is expanding at a faster rate than when it first started at the Big Bang. So that would confirm the theory of the fractal universe and fractal patterns, and just keep going and going and going.
Well, and that's based in this hubris idea that there was a beginning, right? That there was a Big Bang. And that's really all based in the furthest we can see out into the solar system is 14 billion years. And so they say, oh, well, the solar system's got to be 14 billion years old because that's when the Big Bang happened, because that's as far as we can see.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we're like really using the limit of technology.
And this is what I mean about science, okay? The universe is 14 billion years old, right? By light years, okay? But they claim that there's a galaxy 45 billion light years away. So how can something be further away than the beginning of the universe?
Yeah.
Because time is an illusion, people.
Time is an illusion. Hey, I have a piece that I can read it, the story of the Big Bang. But I can take that book, maybe I can read it. I don't understand it so much, but it's written by my guru. And she says there's first the feminine goddess and the man goddess, they were one. And then they wanted to separate because they wanted to see who they really were by going in the matter. So then they separated and then okay, I have to read it. Can I read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah, I have to look for that book. Wait, moment.
Book break.
Yeah, no, reading is good, but it's just, you know, that science and technology, they can choose our reality based on where they are and what they understand, and it's just ignorance. You know, if you go back to ancient, which is why I love knowledge, you go back thousands of years ago, they were saying these things, and they're only just discoveries. But they talked about thousands.
Yeah. The eternal play, creation, the eternal play, the first stage of creation. Can I read that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna that's not creation, the eternal play. Here. Creation is the eternal play of the divine, Parabrahma called in Vedas. It has two cosmic states, to be awake or to be asleep. When Parabrahma is the totality, is in the awakened state, his manifestation into creation takes place. When in the state of sleep, all his activities are dissolved into absolute zero. And the creation ceases to exist. This is a state of no motion and complete entropy. In this state, all that is created, matter and non-matter gets dissolved into an abstract energy, which is Parabrahma. It is a state of existence, of just being. But it is like an object devoid of any light to reflect it. All human, inhuman, superhuman, and non-human elements dissolve into Parabrahma. When he stops the drama of creation being played uniquely for his enjoyment and amusement, in this way the cycle turns from the state of non-being, of Parabrahma, to his full manifestation as the creation itself. Controversy has long raged about the starting point of creation. If one can grasp that eternity is the very nature of Parabrahma, then this controversy can be simply resolved. When a person is in a state of consciousness, he is active, his personality manifests in his work and in his talents are expressed. But when he is asleep, he is totally inactive, and the expression of his personality is withdrawn into his being. The process of creation is comparable to the process of a seed sprouted to become a tree, and having attained full maturity, becoming a seed again. The divine Parabrahma becomes the primordial seed, Brahma, before he starts his activity. Creation in the manifestation of this seed, which is like a perfect crystal with all its facts complete. That's all. That's only the one. That's what she says. So creation is active, and when non-creation is sleep. Is sleep when the divine is not doing anything.
Yeah, like our society right now.
What?
Like our society right now.
Yeah, but then
all
here
dead because most of us don't really create. We just
we don't create. We
just go through the motions of like life. Like oh, we have to eat, sleep, pay bills, work, go back to sleep. This thing, that thing, and none of it is actually creative.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's he says in the beginning that the primordial seed Brahma, that's then the totality, gets divided into two parts. One is the seed, the other is the germinating power. And the feminine is the germinating power, and the seed is the masculine power. In the play of creation, the seed is the spectator, and its germinating power creates that spectacle. If we divide the crystal into its nucleus and its facets, this would be the concept. Such a thing, unfortunately, cannot be done in the material world. Thus, the two identities of God and his power, God the Parameshwara and God of his power Mahashakti, is the feminine part, they exist as supreme being and as the mother power of creation. They are the primordial father, the primordial mother, and our divine parents. That's what she says. In his seeds, form Parabrahma is dormant, lying in this condition for millions of years. The separation of the one from the other only takes place after the awakening of Parabrahma from his state of cosmic sleep. Yeah. Anyhow, with the waking of Parabrahma, his power pulses into activity, awakening a wave of divine love in the seed. This pulsation creates the primordial vibrating sound, Om. It is as if the crystal dissolves into the divine energy, which emits circular waves around its nucleus. On all sides of the nucleus, these waves deposit and create the primordial circle. Ultimately, the primordial divine power oozes out of the divine seed and into the circle created. Thus, this is the first stage of sprouting. Seed breaks into two components. One, the nucleus remains as the omnipotent and omnipresent, the Purusha, witness or spectator, that's the masculine part, and the other part, God's power, is a feminine part, represented as the primordial circle, is the one who manifests the spectacle. It's kind of difficult. I do not understand it anyhow. But it's all, That's a whole page. That's a book you have to read 5 million times before you understand two sentences.
Understand it.
Those are the best books.
Yeah.
The best books, you don't get the first time around. You have to keep rereading and and as you learn more, more is revealed to you. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, and then that's right. But it's she has very beautiful things about animals also written in it. That's another part. But I mean, I maybe stop here because this is already so much for digesting. Like, what is this all about? But I like it. It's beautiful. I find it very beautiful.
Well, when I listen to the different creation stories and ideas, and I'm fascinated by all of them, but I always lean back to the reality that we weren't here in this form, right? When all this happened, we weren't here in this form. We were in some other energetic form.
Yeah, we were in the body,
all connected, and I think there are people who have insight. They sleep and they remember, stories that are handed down from what others remember. But it's still largely, is a mystery. And
It
you know,
is.
so I never really get too invested in any of the creation stories. I find them all fascinating, and I think, you know, probably most of them are probably based in a little bit of truth.
Yeah, I think so too. It's but it's for me it's nice. It's everything. Yeah, it's like the yin yang, because first there was the unish and then whoop, it splits and you have the, and then because then it also contracts all the time. That's why attraction is, because there is always yin yang. If that is not there, then everything, I think, then everything gets lost, because the feminine always wants to be reunited with the masculine. It's a kind of, and that is, and by that it creates more, I think later on, more universes and universe, because that's what they do. It's creation and it's full.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, there are other beautiful parts in it, but that's this one page, and that is, yeah, the first part of creation, and then she tells more about, yeah, other things. And
Well, even
And that's
having a baby, right? Even having a baby as a human. So the woman has the egg and the man has the seed, right? And the man plants the seed and the woman germinates it, right? So to create the spectacle.
Yeah,
And
that's you.
it
Yeah,
starts
that's,
out
yeah.
with one egg, but
Yes.
once that seed goes in there, it starts splitting into two.
Yeah.
And doubling. Yeah.
Yeah. This
is not
tradition
sex
is
education.
yeah.
I feel like we're doing.
Yeah,
I'm getting
actually,
nervous. I'm like, I was like, I don't like to talk to my kids about this stuff.
yeah, but actually, it's always like that. It's the seed, and then it comes to the feminine, and the feminine creates. That's what she does, and that's what
that's just America. We're
Oh yeah, she
indoctrinated
has
to think.
I can read some part of sexuality. Very beautiful.
No, let's not do that. We're good. We're good. We're in America. We're indoctrinated to be scared of such things. Yeah, we're not as open as you guys in Europe are. We're still a bit immature when it comes to these things. But no, and so what's interesting is that, you know, in the beginning of this matrix, right? Because I don't think they're talking about the beginning, like, and you know, so.
No.
And maybe that's why this one is kind of based in that duality of gender or whatever, or the yin and the yang, is because that's how this one started being based in that. But there are various other dimensions and other universes, infinite. And this just happens to be the one that we're in. And whatever is learning from what we're learning in this dimension that's kind of based in this duality.
Yeah. Even in like the myths of the gods and like a lot of ancient cultures or whatever, right? It's always a male energy that enters the darkness of the waters or the primordial darkness or whatever, and that somehow creates life. So there has to be some kind of, at least I guess this matrix, some kind of duality to have life.
Yeah, but they want to unite. It's not about because the end goal is to become one again in the body of energy. But it's that we go asleep again, maybe. Like in the total bliss, in the bliss of divine bliss, I think. And then when that energy decides, okay, we slept enough, we start again anew with creation. I don't know. But it's from the Indian, it's Indian philosophy. It's from the Vedas, from ancient knowledge, from the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. But yeah, you can find it in different ways explained by different gurus. But this is how she explains it, and but it's infinite. Everything is it's difficult to understand. I mean, for me, it's very difficult to understand, but it's intriguing.
Yeah. Well, when you meet someone who it's not difficult for, you know not to pay attention to them. You know, they're not trying to figure it out. They're just trying to get people to follow them. I don't listen to anybody who knows what they're talking about. If they know what they're talking about, I go the other way. But, you know, in my American arcade mind, you know, when we died and we wake up from here, we go back to the game lobby. right? We're back in the arcade, like, oh wow, that was fun. I was playing Earth, the duality. That was awesome. Oh man, we learned a lot. What are we gonna do next? We're gonna go, like Susan O'Neill is saying, we're gonna go to another realm. Let's go play Sagittarian, and you go and so, but I think these are all probably learning games. It's just, I don't have that beautiful vision of heaven. To me, it's like a game lobby. We just go back to the game lobby and we figure out, okay, what do we want to do next? I don't know. And you're probably with what they call it, your soul family, which is all the people who are like playing with you, in that lifetime. So I don't know.
Yeah, different. Yeah, that's. Yeah, you can. I think you have that the realm of the etherical beings, like the dwarves, like the elves, like the nymph. That would be interesting. I want to have a look in that realm.
Yeah, because you know what? I don't think that's a realm, Christine. I don't think like the whole, and I'm gonna make Susan smile and say reptilians. Anytime she can't stop, she can't help herself.
They're real.
So I don't think that's another realm. I think that's here. And this goes back to what I was trying to talk to Paul Bradley about, which is there are infinite universes and infinite galaxies and infinite planets and different physics and different creatures evolving all over on all planets, all over the galaxy. And they all look different, or probably most of them look different. We probably have similarities, right? Because of physics and gravity.
Yeah.
But, the only, so I don't think that elves and nymphs and what is it, the Lumerians, and I think those are just creatures that live, within our realm, but from other planets.
But it used to be that. Yeah, it used to be that humans could make contact with them. I mean, in the old, like in King Arthur's version, they have contact with all those beings. Yep. That's why I wish maybe I lived during King Arthur, because that fascinates me too, that time with those elves and the humans and then all those and that's with the book of. Did you read the book Avalon? So it's very beautiful because the humans become more matter, and they are actually spoiled by Catholicism. So they don't believe anymore, so they don't see those beings anymore. And the elves, they drift away after a veil of fog, and they go to because they are not recognized anymore. So I think that's why actually it's very important to recognize whatever your beings around you, because if you don't recognize them, they stop existing. I mean, that's what I think now.
Well, two things I was going to say, because you just said that too. But so we say the spectrum of vision is like 100, right? As humans, we see like 20. So that's like 80% of things that exist right now in front of us that we can't see with our eyes, right?
Yes.
So what if we just keep getting poisoned more in the matter, and that therefore we can't see these lighter energy beings, right? And they're probably walking around like, you dense ass. I'm right here.
I guarantee you that is reality. I guarantee you they're around us all the time, whatever they are. And
who saw them? Some people see them. Like Jonathan, you reads about Krishnamurti. He saw all those beings because he was awake. He was totally awake, and he sees them. But they think that we see them too because they're born as child. They see them, so for them, and then they discover, don't you see them? Don't you see them? But they see them. If you're very sensitive and your energy must be very more spiritual than matter, then I think you see them more.
Right.
Or all you got to do is get a dog, and then you'll know what's really out there. Because the dogs, they see a lot more dimensions and frequencies than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bark sometimes, and you don't know what is this dog barking about. And then if they go to sit at a lovely place, and they look like that, like in awe. Wow, is there an angel? Yeah, really, they do that. And then I think, okay, I'm gonna sleep there. The dog is there in awe in that place, and from the corner of the room. So maybe I have to put my bed there. So because it tells a lot where they like to be. Yeah. And
so I just wanted to mention though too, you said they stop existing because you don't believe them, right? And
Yeah.
I believe that, and it's not just because of a show. So there's a TV show called American Gods that I've talked about before, and
Yeah.
so the old gods are going to war with the new gods, right? Now the old gods are like Odin, oh, the one, now I'm not going to remember her name, but she's the one with all the arms. That is it Kali?
Kali,
Yeah,
the goddess
her,
Kali.
she's in it.
And she is like this, and
Yeah,
she has all the swords. She is the one who kills who's the killer of the evil, eh?
the evil.
But
Yeah,
she appears as an angel for the righteous people, and she appears as a devilish woman for the evil people. So if you would see them, probably you see a nice lady, hopefully. And if not, if you're like Biden or something, or all those president, they will see her like she's really like, and then she has a tongue. That's nice. But the children, I had to still tell stories for the Indian children, and they also liked Kali because she eats the evil people. And then they were imitating that. And I was a little child, and he says, "Oh," and then I talked about Kali, some story, and then he did. And then the only thing he could do when I say Kali, he pulled his tongue out. So like so sweet, so little child. It was so sweet. And but that's how the bloodthirsty goddess who eats. She has skulls around her neck.
yeah,
And the blood is dripping from her teeth. So yeah, beware of her. Beware of her.
yeah. But the show is like old gods like that, right? And and like there's all kinds of gods in there that Anansi, like all kinds of gods, right? So from like all different cultures.
Yeah.
And they're dying because less and less people are believing in them.
Yeah.
They're losing their power, right? But the new gods, guess what the new gods are? New gods are technology, media, Mr. World, who like lives in the like, whatever, those underground bunker things and watches everybody and stuff. And yeah, that's him, right? And he's the leader. But yeah, so it's those. And Mr. World, right, had this guy who was like technology boy, but really he is human innovation and creation, and he has to keep him under control and like his prisoner. Otherwise, humans might actually start worshiping the old gods again and not he. And it's all planned to plug everybody in to constantly suck their energy for the new gods. That's what I'm saying.
So
yes, Susan.
It's before I say it's all energy. That's why Susan is a natural doing this. And this is why I had to drag her on here to do it. She's got that energy, and she gets excited. She's like, no. She starts pointing and getting, like I wish I had that level of excitement. I don't. I'm not animated. I wish I were.
You are not animated. Come on.
But it's energy, right? It's all energy.
Yes,
it's what you put your energy into, right? And so to me, that makes perfectly good sense, right? If you believe in the media, you're empowering them, right? Not just because you're a viewer, but from an energetic level, you are empowering, the people that you're watching, the stations, the God media, right? The God pharmaceutical, you can, have an issue with Ovaltines and donuts, but if you're going to CVS and Walgreens and you've got a medicine cabinet at home, you're still empowering the pharmaceutical gods, right? And that gives them more power to do even more damage. So that makes perfectly good sense. I mean, there was a time where, we believed in a certain types of gods, and now we got other types of gods. And maybe part of our evolution process is to get to a point where we don't have a god. We are God. We're not slaves of anything. Nothing is our master. We don't actually have to put our energy in other places. We put them in ourselves, right? We believe in our own, because we all live in our own little matrix anyway, right? Like how we started the discussion. We all have our own perspectives. And that way you're either investing your energy in your perspective, your dimension, your reality, your matrix, or you're putting it in something else's. And maybe that's what all this is about, is that you've got all these creatures, and maybe the Greek gods, Odin and all them, maybe they're the same gods. They're just manifesting themselves as media. and big corporations and industries, but maybe they're the same entities, and they're
Yeah,
just giving us a new way to invest our energy in their existence.
yeah, I think that's the dark energy. That's also the demons. The demons in the beginning of times, they looked like demons. Now they look like humans, and they are like those blue states. They're more
Presidential
demons
speeches.
than red states. They look like presidents. They look like Pentagon. They look like that's what they are in the mind from them. They are not visible because really in the old days during the Mahabharata, they looked like with all those like a demon, and the people know these that are demons. We have to be scared of them, and the gods were fighting, and the gods looked like gods. But my guru also said if they would be in their real form, you would all scare away. You would be afraid of the goddesses, and you would be afraid of the demons, because the goddesses are full of light. You could not handle it, so we have to come in a kind of a Maya. The gods, they come like human beings, demons also, but you have to recognize them.
Well, they're always trying to control this realm, right? They're always trying to control us in the dimension. I mentioned before, Lily Kincaid. She's got me looking at the Cathars, right? And it actually is interesting. I'm not really ready to talk at any kind of length. I'm still learning, but they actually believe some really, really non-standard Christian type things, because that's what they were. They were a Christian group.
Agnostic.
And the reason I mention that is because they believe that Satan created Earth, right? Darkness created the Earth and created this realm of matter. And so they were anti-matter. Literally anti to anything matter, anti to any, they talk
that
about
goes far for me. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Because I don't think that matter is bad, but we have to realize that we're spirit. But if we identify with the matter, then we get lost in the matter. But if we can enjoy the matter, that's being the Maya, like in India, see that's Maya matter, but be detached from it, then it's like a gift. But if you identify totally, then it's like a curse. I think it's also two different ways of looking at it. I mean, that's what I would think.
And they had their own dogma. I just found it interesting that they had a very oppositional view that Satan created this realm of matter and we're spiritual creatures and spiritual beings. And, and while I agree the things here, matter isn't bad, it just is what it is. But it was designed to get us to focus on something that does not matter, which is matter, right? And so that was the main opposition they had to the Catholic Church, right? Because the Catholic Church, they wanted people to believe in money and control and kings and power and matter. And the Cathars were like, no, none of that matters. None of that makes any sense. We're trapped in this realm and we don't get rescued until we die. And that's when we go back to the spiritual realm. Like this whole thing is evil, was their belief system. But it's interesting. It's interesting how from the same person, Christ, that you have so many different belief systems based in what was said in the scriptures that are around at that time. And it really and that takes me back to the Library of Alexandria, that we lost the vast majority of scriptures that all of those spiritual creatures or whatever they were, they wrote down. And what's left is just the whatever was left by the most bloodiest, dirtiest, foulest, psychopathic popes that the planet could exist from the Crusades, and everything else they burned up.
Yeah, and they kept the black magic. I think they have a lot of books, the Vatican of black magic, and how to keep people in control. They have that. They really have that.
Yeah, money's part of their spell.
Money's one part of it.
Money completely enslaves us. The reason why we all live the way we live is because of money. It decides how our children's future. It decides how much we eat, where we live, how we live, if we get to travel, our health. All of that is dependent on money.
True.
So
that's why,
spell. That's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
And that is why. Yeah, and that is why you have to think as money as energy, because if you look at it another way, it can come to you in a positive way. It's different. It's also a kind of thing. If it's you create energy, And if you see it in a positive way, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Then when you need, you don't look at you don't think about the money, but you have energy and you have a goal and you work to that. When you need the money, it will be there. But when you think, I need first the money and then I'm going to do it, it never works out. My girl says, start doing something, and what you need, if it's positive, it will come to you. But if you just wait, it will never come to you. You can be a prison of your money. Most people are prison of their money. Actually, they might be super rich, but they're the most miserable people. They're the most poor people, most of them.
Yeah, because they got all that evil energy in their bank accounts.
Well, it is. It is. And that more than anything else is what gets me in the most trouble with people who just, they don't want to let it go. They don't understand that money is not the root of evil. Money is, it's some form of dark magic, or it's some form of, it's got a spell on it. Let's put it that way. It's got a spell on it, right?
Juju on it.
Right.
Yeah, it keeps you in the claim. The money is ruling over you. You're not ruling over money. And if
it's your Lord and Savior, right? It's your Lord and Savior. It's what gets you up in the morning. It's the only thing that will let you go to sleep at night. It makes possible the things you want to do. And all the money is all based in things like colonization, slavery, death, murder, war. Like money requires all of those things to exist. I mean, there could be some sort of an economic banking system that does not require us dropping bombs on babies or cutting them in half.
I agree.
But we've never seen that system before. You know, like I was actually thinking about that today while I was breaking boulders up. I was thinking, I laugh at this idea that people are fighting racism. You know, like I think it's just ridiculous. Like if you have a bank account, you're not fighting racism. The very purpose of money is to divide people up and put them in conflict, right? To put them in ism groups. So if you're out there combating racism, because there was some little thing that played across the radio, you know, hey, we're fighting racism. No, you're not. If you got a bank account, you are 100% investing in all isms.
Yeah, true. And that's why you should really go above that money thing. And and it's the positive thinking again. In a way, you do what is positive and the help will come to you in miraculous way. That's also what in the Bible says. The birds don't think about they don't think about what to do. They, like the animals, they are always happy. They always have their food. They always find their food because they're in tune with that higher energy. With the divine energy. So they know they don't need to save money. They don't need to have a bank account, kind of thing. It's different, but they always find food. How is that? Because they're in tune. They always know where to fly from the north to from North America to South America or wherever. Without they don't get lost, and I get lost in my own house. So
I like to think about what was life like before money, right? When everyone actually, they didn't have to link up to the banker's reality, right? They lived in their own reality. If you were hungry, you went and picked some food, or you grew some food. You know, you hunted, you wanted to travel, you traveled. You wanted to educate your kids, you educated your kid, right? Like you weren't controllable.
They traded goods with each other without money.
They traded goods and they bartered. And it was perfect, and it was beautiful too, because what you had, its value was based on how badly I needed it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, a tool might be worth 20 chickens because I really need that tool, instead of like, you know, a central controlling group controlling the human race, setting prices to I won't go into detail. I think I talk about that a lot, but money is not the root of all evil. Money is definitely the catalyst for violence and conflict. And once you get rid of it and everyone's living in their own realities again, either violence will disappear or it'll go back to natural levels. Conflict will either disappear or it'll go back to where it's supposed to be.
Oh no, we're gonna go to major conflict first. Sorry to just wait. So,
Well,
but
well, right. To end this world, to end the current matrix, the current model, it's gonna be a rough ride, right?
oh well,
Because we forgot that's
no, go
people.
ahead.
Yes, yeah. It's like we tell them many times. I think we uh, don't follow our passions, so we are clueless. I mean, people are clueless. Oh, what shall I do for a living? Because we are not trained to follow what is in us, what is our passion, what is where we good in. So like like I told that person, like in Africa, the tribe, they ask the shamans ask on the lady who's pregnant on the baby, what is your purpose in this life? And they tell to the shaman, I'm very good in herbs, so I like herbs, so I'm gonna be a herb specialist, or I'm a carpenter, or I'm gonna be knowing the animals, how to deal with them, all this kind of stuff. They were very happy because they were born and they got in the tribe, and they looked at it and they brought them to the places where they could learn more, and they followed their passion, and they had no money, they just survived, and they were happy because when you do your passion, you're never tired, you just keep on doing what you love to do. So
I just want to bring up the okay, so the prophecy, right? The Revelations, the Bible.
Oh yeah.
People like, I'm sorry, like shit's gonna get really messed up soon, and it's so screwed up because I'm on the East Coast. It's bullshit. But anyway, I literally have a machete behind my bed now, like because yeah, I'm ready. This ain't going down without a fight. At least I'll have
how you gonna...
and I'll go to Valhalla if I die.
Oh yes, also my shit. Oh, those.
Yeah, this shit's getting real now.
But you cannot fight a tornado or the tsunami with a machete. That's gonna be...
No, and I don't want to die by drowning. God, there's so many other ways I'd rather die than drown.
Yeah,
that is just
right.
So
Monday because okay.
So, should I talk? Okay, I'll talk about that. Okay, so we are being set up for war, and like we as a nation are falling right into it, like dominoes, like exactly what they want us to do. Like first of all, the terrorist 911 thing, right? Yeah, that was just. Now it's 20 years later, they're just putting that full circle now. Like that's just circle back, you know what I mean? Circle back to that. And then secondly, okay, because think about it, right? We left them all our shit. And then they're like showing things of like hanging off the helicopter. What is that to do? That's to get American taxpayers pissed off and emotional so we can be like, yeah, we got to go back. And then I see the same day an article where, oh, they let all the boys back, but not the girls. But let's check this. In the picture, the leader of the Tally Boo Boo has got a freaking standard issue Chinese made mask on. Okay? Now you're telling me the Taliban wears masks? They'll freaking strap themselves up to a bomb and blow themselves up for Allah, but they're wearing a mask for the 99% survival rate. And I'm supposed to believe this shit like it's real. And everybody's feeding into it. So civil war is coming. And then when we divide between this Biden-Trump bullcrap, guess what happens next? Then they could be like, oh, China, we need help. These are our allies. And here comes China to save the day. So, yeah. Get ready, people. Oh, yeah. And besides that, the Revelations Bible quote thingy, right? So the sixth seal pours open waters and the Euphrates River dries up, right? And that allows the soldiers from the armies of the West to march on the East or some shit, right? Anyway, so guess what? A week ago, article drops, Euphrates River drying up.
Okay, Susan.
Saudi Arabia and Russia sign a military agreement. So
yeah, but you know,
America's not getting some shit soon, and you're crazy.
Yeah, but you know, Susan, do you remember last time, I think a few months ago, there was that man who had a dream, and he saw on the soil of the American ground Chinese soldiers, Russian soldiers, and the White House burning.
Yeah.
So it might be this October, kind of, could be. Because you know, hey,
Happy Halloween!
China is on the Gulf Coast. Huh? Yeah, have to come to here. No, China is on the Gulf Coast. The military is on the Gulf Coast of in your neighborhood.
Yeah, the California,
there.
right?
Yeah.
So,
But that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, and then wait, just this is great too, right? So
but
in California, dude had enough signatures against him to get recalled, and then all the people who signed that recall thing decided not to vote that day, and he won. And we're supposed to believe this, and then there's some freaking brainless. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be mean. Whatever they are, really believing it, really believing that that's real. Like that was no kind of little, tricky. It's all legit. Yeah.
Well, he did what he was told to do, right? He listened to his masters, and even though he didn't want to do it, and he didn't do any of it, right? Because that was a guy, Gavin Newsom. That was the guy who kept getting caught at like parties, dancing. I mean, didn't they catch him with some hookers and stuff, and throwing juices around and just all kind of biological things? And he did anything he wanted to do, but he followed what he was told to do from a very powerful industry that dictates pretty much most politics. They're the number one lobbyist groups. Well, they have the number one lobbyist groups in Washington. He did what he was told to do. So it doesn't matter that again, votes don't matter. No. And I really haven't been following it, but my understanding pretty much was that he was recalled. He was done. His goose was fried. You had Democrats who were going to vote for the Republican guy, Larry Elders or something.
Yeah.
And then so I expected
it was called the blackface.
What happened?
Dude, Larry Elder is black, okay?
Yeah.
And on TV, the Democratic spokeslady on the news literally called him the blackface of freaking the Republican Party. But that's not racist because she's a Democrat.
Yeah, true.
Well, yeah. But see, they have people believing that, right? They talk that way because people are this gullible. Right? People are this naive. They convinced themselves that the Republican Party is the party of racism, and they have no idea who the Democrats are and what they've always been up to. But that's why I'm not in the race fight. I have zero interest in fighting racism. I don't cheer it on either. It's just, to me, the groups that want people to give up on racism, they have their own isms. And my statement to people, because I got some racist friends, don't give it up, brother. Hang on to it. Don't give it up, right? Because you wait till they give up their isms, right? All they want is their ism to control other people, right? Until we give up on these philosophies of isms, then it doesn't really matter which one has power. It's still the same darkness and evil.
But it's not only
the
black
Democrats. They're just good at finding gullible, naive people who think that, we're fighting racism, but they're on the same team with the Republicans, right? They all work for the United States Incorporated, and its basis, like everything dark, is division and conflict. So but I was surprised to hear that Gavin Newsom was still in place. But when I heard that, I was like, but that actually makes sense. That he did everything he was told to do.
Landslide forever.
But he says, do what I say, do not how I dine, because Jimmy Dore made a funny meme about him.
I like Jimmy.
Do what I say.
God. Right? He's a king. He doesn't have to do what his slaves do. He dictates to the slaves of California, this is what you do. I don't have to do it, but you need to do it. Yeah. Right. The same thing with AOC when she had on that gown with that big event, and it said she had a multi-$1,000 dress on that said "Eat the Rich."
Tax the rich.
And I'm like, you should literally be eating yourself right now, but that would be pornography, And so, but she was walking, and so the thing at that event,
the worst thing, the servants were wearing a mask.
Yes.
That's the worst.
Well, it's consistent.
Yeah, on that, my uncle said there was some kind of, I don't know, awards ceremony, a blowing each other contest for the rich. And so, seriously, that's all it is. And anyway, and he's like, all the celebrities and stuff don't have masks on, and I said, yeah, all the people making $15 an hour have to wear masks, but the rich people don't. Just like at my job when I have to wear a mask, and the customers coming in, they don't have to though, right? And then the manager's like, I had it down here, and she's like, can you put it over your nose? And I'm thinking, really? Based on what? There's customers everywhere, but my nose showing is the problem, right? And then this other manager was like, well, she just follows the rules. And I said, so what? If a rule is messed up or wrong, do you just follow them? Like, you don't question the rule, right?
Yeah.
If it's a bad rule and it makes no logical sense, then why are you following it?
I have a good one.
I'm sorry.
In Belgium, there was a concert this weekend. I don't know for whom, I didn't go. And next to the concert, there was a jab tent when you could go for free. And then you get offered a red apple. Isn't that symbolic? Like Snow White. They get the red apple, and if they get the jab, the donut.
Well, that's better than America. At least they gave them something natural, something that grows in the ground, something that actually is human food. Here we give people Twinkies and donuts and chicken and burgers. Like, we give people the things that help them die, but we got to tie this back to ancient knowledge. So ancient knowledge, never trust the kings. Never trust the coffers. Never trust the little freaky guy by the king's throne in the purple robe.
Yeah,
Littlefinger. Never trust them.
Yeah, I was thinking about Adam and Eve. She bit in the apple, and you think, and now they do the same. Or Snow White. It was like so creepy symbolic to me.
Yeah, and I said Star of Revolution. I just want to mention real quick because someone said to me that maybe I should mention it because it's like, this shit's really bothering me. I don't know what I went through in a past life, but I don't deal with this oppression shit well. I do not. I can't take it.
I can't take it either.
No, everybody has to be free. I can't stand it. And so they were saying that because I was like, okay, protests, right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, they work. Oh, the government did something wrong, so I'm going to ask them permission to protest them. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, in America, you have to ask permission to protest the government you're protesting.
No, that is
protest, okay?
No, that's not a protest.
Yeah, millions of people just show up with no permission slips, okay? That's a protest.
That's a protest. You have to do like France. You have to do like France.
Exactly. So
they don't ask permission. No, you have to take your power. You don't ask power. You never get power. I mean, you take your power back. I mean, why should they give you power? If they ask me very nicely, can you give my power back, my freedom back, please?
But my thing is, we all know the law's like kind of bullshit and the government's kind of bullshit, but they do still have to follow it to a certain extent to make us consent, right? Because it can't just be, I don't know, force is coming.
Well, so I've always been anti-protest, right? I don't like protests. I don't go, and I'm not going to go because there's a difference between, well, there's a time and a place for everything, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a time and a place for protesting the government, which is what it is. We're getting together, whether we ask permission or we don't, and we're begging our government, we're protesting that you do something different. Please, we love you. Please do something different. And I don't believe in that. That is what you do when you have a government. Right? That's what you do when they actually care, when they are representing the people. The representatives are supposed to go protest what they're doing. But we're not the representative. Like they're not representing us, right? They're representing corporations, right? These are oligarchs. They're not politicians. They represent money and power and the super PACs and corporations that tell them what to do. Now, when those super PACs and corporations protest, they listen. When we protest, they couldn't give two damns. They don't care at all. Yeah. And they don't care so much that, they tell you got to ask permission and you can't come this close to the building. You got to stand back when our cars are drying out. So, so what's the other thing? There's protesting, and then there's action.
Right.
Actually doing an act, taking an action, doing something to shut something down, like in Australia, right? The truckers shutting down cities, or what the plan was with the trucks, right? That's taking an action. That's saying, no, I'm not. You didn't listen to my protest. You didn't listen to my voice. For whatever reason, we're going to shut it down, right? Taking action. And we are well past the time of and I appreciate people who want to do something, right? They get on the mic and stuff. But I really don't listen, because it's a waste of time. The government doesn't listen. They're not a government. They're a corporation. They don't care. The only thing they care about is you shutting down their systems, and that's going to affect their money. That's when they'll actually listen to to people who they no longer represent.
Yeah, in France, they take the picnic and they eat outside the restaurant their own bread.
Yeah,
So
I know.
So they don't as protest. That's actually quite good.
Well, we're taking action, right? Like even sitting at lunch counters, going in and sitting down so they can't serve anybody else because they don't want to serve you, right? Taking an actual action. The problem with taking an action is there are consequences. I mean, even moving off grid. I like what Buddha said before. She said, protest, doing nothing.
No.
That is that actually isn't that's an action. That's an effective action. When you don't do anything that they want you to do, you're defying the system. And this is where we are, is we got to defy the system. I mean, and I mostly agree, Susan, what you're saying. This is going to come to a head.
Yes.
And it's going to be rough. But how rough it's going to be is really based on how many people have awakened in that time and how long this nonsense goes on. But something is coming, right? It's going to come to a head, and it can be devastating, or it could just suck, but the more people who actually start to take action and stop talking, because that's what protesting is. It's just talking. Right. You might as well be at home on social media and talking, right? Right now, to me, everybody who's capable of understanding what's going on in the world, they already understand what's going on. No one else wants to.
Nope.
Yeah, that's true.
But what I'm saying is like she said with the dollars, that's what I mean. Like a lot of us, like a majority of us, like have to refuse to use Amazon anymore, or like disconnect as many things as we possibly can. Stop going to Walmart. Like, if your job's going to fire you, well, then get fired. You know what I mean? And then together, everybody starts a class action lawsuit against every corporation and every government entity. And if it's like thousands of people from Jersey, thousands of people from Pennsylvania, thousands. I mean, you have that many people in a class action lawsuit. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody here at some point has to be a constitutional lawyer, a neuroconstitutional lawyer. And yes, I think the government is bullshit, but we are in the freaking matrix. And I think that is a more effective way. Yes, it'll take longer, and a lot of us will be killed by the Chinese.
Same at school.
They should, but still, they have to do something.
Yeah, same with the school. They should say, teachers, come. You can teach our kids in our place or whatever, in the garage or whatever. Don't go to school. Don't pay for school. Let them do. Let them take them out of the school. No more going to school.
No more going to school.
Well, the thing is, we're at war.
Yeah.
And not enough want to admit that, right? This is a global war. We are literally at war with corporations that are coming for all human rights. Your right to exist as a human is what they're and so we have to respond like it's a war, right? They keep firing shot after shot after shot after shot, and we're not even responding, right? We are definitely at war. And so when they come for your children, which is they have, they come for your DNA, which they have, they came for your freedoms, your ability to breathe air. This is a war.
Yeah.
And to some degree, at some time, we're gonna have to start fighting back fighting a corporate war, right? Like so to clarify, right? It's not a cannon war, it's not a grenade war, it's not, those wars are outdated. Those wars are largely ineffective and useless, violent wars. This is a war of getting you to compel you, right? To take away your rights, that literally taking away your ability to go to a grocery store and get food. That is a war to make you and your children starve, right?
Yeah,
That's a
true.
war.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
we got to start taking action and stop waiting to see what's going to happen. We got to take action.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So
Yeah,
that was an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry for going on my rant. I just can't take it anymore. Like, I don't understand. Like, I really don't. I'm supposed to be like playing in meadows and building things and making things and growing things. I'm not supposed to be dealing with all this shit. Like, I don't get it. And I don't get why people just don't want to be free. Like, yeah, it might be scary at first not to have daddy around, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I know we'll be okay. In fact, we'll be okay, and the kids on the other side are going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think our kids are going to be the first free generation, you know, but it to me, it always goes back into accepting the reality that the corporations have come for your human rights. Now is not the time to work for them. Now is not the time to buy from them. Now is not the
Yep.
time to obey. Now is the time to accept this war that corporations have started and fight it in a way that you can destroy a corporation, which is their wallet, the
Right.
bottom line. So I agree. So that's lawsuits, class action. That's not shopping at places that don't let you to go in and breathe air, right?
Yeah.
Shutting
Delbig
them
is good
down.
in
That's
that.
the only language they speak.
Delbig Tree is good in that. He sues every I think the FDA is going to sue the government for all the lies. They just keep on suing them all.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if he sues, and I'm sure he has other names on that lawsuit, right? But what if like even only 20 people in my county agree and want to put their name on it, and then but every county is going to have some amount of people that are against this shit. And if they start getting lawsuits, like even if they're filed individually, like 100 million lawsuits against them, 80 million lawsuits against one company, like that's not sustainable. They ain't going to be able to take that. But we really have to work together somehow to do something, and we have to fight them, not on their ground,
unless
but in the language that they know.
Unless they use, but unless they use
it gets back to that art of war, right? Type of discussion where you look at your enemy and you hit them where it hurts. Right. You don't hit them where it's convenient for you. You hit them where it hurts. And how do you hurt a corporation is different than how you hurt China. Right. You know, and so and it's pointless to know we're at war if we don't know how to fight. And that's why I think they're doing, and I think Big Tree even mentioned it, or someone on Big Tree, that they're literally doing things almost like they want people to become violent.
Yeah,
they're pushing so hard. They're pissing people off. They're abusing our children. They're doing everything they can to try to get a violent response out of people so they can lock down with violence, because that's what they know, right? The United States Incorporated is a violent corporation. It's a war corporation. It understands violence, and that's what it wants us to do. The one thing that will change everything, though, is fighting a war and hitting the corporations where it actually will hurt them. Because that is really who's at the basis of it, or as high as we can see, is because they lobbied the politicians. The politicians aren't speaking for them. It's not a Democrat Republican thing. It's not a blue red thing. It's a money, no money thing. They lobby just enough people, politicians, to make sure that they get the systemic laws that they want against the human race. And so they got that, and they're getting it globally.
And I mean, I really do think like the lawsuit thing is a good idea, but I also think on a smaller scale, like even your own community, start like seed sharing programs and garden share programs.
Everything.
And like you said, Christine, like if there's a way where like there's a mother at home that's willing to homeschool 3 kids and you pay her, you know what I mean? Like whatever.
True.
Is like we have to start building together in a smaller way without.
But it exists. But it exists in our. I mean, I don't have it here, but we have like in an organization, and it's like We pay in trade, like, okay, I'm gonna sew your shirts, or you're gonna do my computer, bro. You help with my computer. I go over cooking, or are you gonna garden, or you do whatever you want, or you cook a meal when somebody is very busy. So if you can't afford to go to the garage, somebody makes your car and fix the car, and you do something else. They have different kind of skills they trade here for people who don't have a lot of money. And
Yeah.
it works actually.
Yeah.
Well, that's a fight. Like that actually is fighting. You know, and that goes along with what Benita just said, which is, and so some people can't just walk away from their job, right? Some people can't.
Yeah.
They're not in a position to do that. Well, fight how you can, right?
Right.
Make as much money as you can. Play solitaire on your break. Take long breaks.
Yeah.
Sabotage the system here and there. You know, but take that money and spend it locally, right? Don't take that money and go spend it with Amazon. It boggles
Yeah,
my
true.
mind why anyone who wants to change anything would still have an Amazon account or Amazon Prime account. It's insanity to think about the problems with the world and you got an Amazon account, right? Use that money and spend it locally, or at least buy things that allow you to start living sustainably or moving off grid. You mentioned growing food and planting seeds and seed shares. That's what the grocery store doesn't want. The last thing they want is you to actually start to grow your own healthy organic food, not the poison crap that they have there that they make you abuse yourself to just walk in the store and buy it. That actually is a fight. That's an action. That's actually doing something, you know. So
and I just want to add, I can't afford to lose my job, but I will be a naked forager in the woods before I take that donut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's
survive easily.
And I don't care because I ain't taking that donut.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. And you know,
Texas on foot. Might take me 6 months, but I'll get there.
And this is the whole, you know, preparation thing, right? You know, accepting of what's coming and doing your best to prepare for how to navigate it. You know, and there are a lot of people who are doing it, and there are others who just aren't doing anything. They're not even considering, okay, well, what is my plan A? What is my plan B? What is my plan C? But, you know, they brought the war to us, and it's time that we start acting like we're first blood, right? You know, Sylvester Stallone, they drew first blood. What are we going to do? Are we going to keep watching them abuse our kids more and more and more and us? Or are we going to finally say that's it? You know,
I mean,
there we go.
Spiritually and mentally, we've been at war, I think, for the last age of Pisces, the last 2,000 years.
Yeah, 2,000 years for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was a lot of the Roman Empire.
It is actually, you
I
know,
guess they're all reptilians, but whatever.
But from the book of initiation, there is when the gods fled the country because it became more matter. From then on, it started going wrong. That is how many years ago? 11, 12,000 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end. That it is spiritual warfare. You know, there's physical, but it's mostly spiritual warfare.
Yeah.
And you fight spiritual warfare spiritually.
Yeah, because I think we were supposed to ascend this age, but
we are supposed to
kept us with all these, you know, money spells and rules and Catholicism and lying to us about history and blowing everything up on the American continent before Americans even got here. Yeah. Yeah. It was all to keep us in some weird trap. And now we're going into a new age of Aquarius, you know, higher thinking. So let's try to turn on our brains.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's great. Well, ladies, thank you so much. Christine, thank you so much. Susan, everybody else, thank you for joining. This is Gerard, Ancient Knowledge. We shall see you guys next week on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.